Okay, hello. Welcome to a 3 looks 1 palette. We're getting through all of these 3 looks 1 palettes videos that I need to film. Today, it's with the Beauty by Earthy palette. Like I said in my 3 looks 1 palette video that I did with the Midnight from Beauty Bay, this palette is a little bit older. Thankfully, it's like not limited edition. It's permanent, so if you've been thinking about it for a while and you haven't picked it up, maybe this video will be helpful in terms of like helping you determine whether or not you want to, or if you've already had it for a while, new inspiration or whatever. I just wanted to do a 3 looks 1 palette with it because I haven't done it, and yeah, I had a great time. Love the looks. So let's just get into it. You know what this video is about. Okay, hello friends. Welcome to the first look using the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. I feel like this look is going to be a little bit basic, but there are only so many things I can do with a monochromatic green palette. So I'm going to start with the shade Acid. This little green shade here, as if not every shade isn't green. And just run this through my crease. I want this to be like grungy green with some neutral shimmers. It's my vision. Now I'm going to take the shade Eucalyptus and put this through my outer corner of my crease. And then I'm going to take the shade Ivy, the darkest green, and deepen my crease and outer corner. Okay, now I'm going to take Palm and Satellite on my lids. First though, I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer. The sounds of the city. And just put this all over the empty part of my lid. First, I'm taking Palm, putting this in the center of my lid. And then taking Satellite and putting this in the front part. I'm just going to go back and forth between the two shimmers to make sure they're all nice and blended together. Oh, my eyes are never even, but honestly I don't even care right now. I'm gonna go back into Eucalyptus and run this over the front part of my crease and blend this into the Palm shade. And then take Ivy, the darkest green, and deepen my outer corners and run this just lightly over the edges of the shadow, and also use this to kind of soften the edge of the shimmers as well. And then take Palm and Satellite on my fingers and intensify these on my lids. And then take Acid one more time and just run this very lightly over the very edge of my shadow, just to really help with that final blend. Okay, I'm quickly going to do highlight and blush and be right back. Okay, blush and highlighter on. I use the Beauty Bay Light Face Palette, and I just use the highlight, the shade Precious, and the blush in the shade Peach. I meant to use the bronzer today also, but I didn't. I forgot. So anyway, for my lower lash line, I'm going to keep it same. I'm going to take Eucalyptus and put this underneath my eyes. Then I'm going to take Ivy, put this underneath my eyes as well, connecting it to my top lid. And then take Acid, blend her out, which does make this a little bit of a brighter green look. Well, it's okay. You're gonna get green with this palette no matter what you do. So now I'm gonna take a matte black because there isn't one in the palette. This is just the same old Pat McGrath single black that I always use, and put this in my outer corners. And then finally I'm going to take the shade Kava, which isn't necessarily ideal, but it'll work. And I'm going to put this in my inner corners. But for my brow bone, I'm just going to take the highlight that I used on my face, because I don't really feel like Kava is going to work super great for my brow bone. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to hop off camera, finish up the rest of my face, and be back to show you the finished look. Okay, and this is the finished look. I was like, what will make this look different from all of the other green looks that I've done? And I did an orange lip. I used the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade What's the Stitch. Discontinued, but what are you gonna do? I really love this look. I mean, green and orange is always a winning color combination in my opinion, so, and you can't fault Beauty Bay shadows. Beautiful. And I have nothing else to say. Let's get into the second look. Okay, hello, welcome to the second look in the 3 Looks 1 palette with the Earthy palette from Beauty Bay. I'm gonna do a halo eye today. I'm gonna start with the darkest shade, the shade Ivy. And I'm going to stamp this in my outer and inner corners of my eye and through my crease as well. I've been listening to the Lizzie McAlpine album where that has the one TikTok sound that's like sped up and like people are running through fields in dresses and stuff, like main character energy. It has the specific vibe that I feel in my life right now, which is honestly angst with a little sprinkle of depression. So it's really just like hitting in the best way. If you're curious as to what I've been listening to on repeat all day long. Okay, now I'm going to blend this out with the shade Cobra. And yeah, just blend the edges of the Ivy shade out with this. And then I'm going to take a little mixture of Ivy and Cobra and just blend this on, like, between the two shades just to help the blend a little bit more. And then I'm going to take the shade Fresh and use this to blend the edges some more. Okay, now I'm going to go into the lid shades that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take the shade Sage in the outer parts and Pixie in the inner part, in the middle, rather. First though, I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer and put this in the center of my lid. Taking Pixie, putting this in the center. And then taking Sage, and putting this in the inner and outer parts. And then I'm just going to go back and forth between Sage and Pixie and blend these shimmers together. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of the deepest shade Ivy that I used and re-intensify this on, well, in my inner and outer corners, making sure to blend it into Sage, the deepest shimmer. Also just lightly running this over the edge through the center of my lid. Taking a touch more of Cobra, just running this over the edges. And then taking the lightest shade, which was the shade Fresh, and just running this over the very edges. Okay, then I'm going to take Pixie and Sage on my fingers and intensify these on my lid. And then I'm going to take a matte black. This is just a Pat McGrath single black. Any black will do. And put this in the very inner and outer corners of my eye. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Sage, the deepest shimmer, and just tap this over the edges, over where I just put the black. Not necessarily trying to be super opaque, just kind of tapping it over. Okay, I'm quickly going to do blush and highlight, and I will be back, and then we can do the lower lash line. Okay, if you are curious, I used the highlight, the shade Precious from the Beauty Bay Face palette, and the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duo in the shade She's So LA. Okay, now for my lower lash line, I'm going to start with the deepest shade Ivy again and just stamp this all underneath my eyes. Taking Cobra and blending this out, and then taking Fresh and blending this out. Taking the matte black that I used and placing this in the inner and outer corners, or inner and outer parts of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take first Sage, the darkest shimmer, spray that so it sticks, and then place this in the inner and outer portions of my lower lash line. And then taking Pixie, spraying this as well, and then placing that in the center. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of Pixie on my pinky and just really try to get this as bright as I can right in the center of my eye. And then I'm just going to take Precious, the highlight that I used on my face, And take a little bit of that and put it on my brow bone. Okay, and this is where I'm going to leave the look. So I'm going to hop off camera, finish up my face, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. Okay, and this is the finished look. Really love it. On my lips, I have the NYX lip liner in Espresso and the Wet n Wild's matte lipstick in Mochalicious. I really love this lipstick paired with greens. I think it's so, so pretty. Yeah, I just love using beauty-based shadows, truly. And I do feel like this palette has a really good range of greens, I will say. Okay, so this is the second look. Let's get into the third. Okay, hello. Welcome to the third look using the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. Finally, I have a different vision for what I want to do today, so we'll see if that actually ends up looking like how I want it to look. I'm going to start with the shade Seahorse and take that all the way through my crease. And then I'm going to take Shamrock, and I'm going to put this all over my lid and blend it into my crease. Actually, hold on. I forgot I was going to do this. Don't do it this way if you have any say in it. I'm going to use tape because I want to do a smoky wing, and I want to have a more defined shape. Ideally, you would do this before you'd put your first shadow down, but hey. Never been perfect, so give me 1 second. I know you're not technically supposed to do this if you have blush and all this stuff, like powder, basically your entire base down, but I don't really care. And if I need to fix anything after, I will. Okay, we're just gonna see how that goes. Just because I want like the shape of the shadow, it's just gonna be easier in the long run if my shadow is the same angle as my wing. But anyway. Ideally, I would have done this before I put Seahorse down. What are you gonna do? Cover it with blush, I guess. And then I'm going to take Ivy, and I'm going to build this up in my outer corner and bring it like halfway through my crease. I always say that and always end up bringing it all the way through, but I really want to try to keep this contained today. And then I'm going to do something a little bit crazy for me. I'm going to take that same shade Ivy, and I'm going to do a little thing. I want to do like a little dot thing and then do kind of like that. And this is why I could never be on Glow Up. Symmetry, what is she? But for the purposes of me in this video, and this look, this might be as good as it gets. You know? I feel like I've seen a lot of people do this kind of thing. And I wanted to try something different. I'm going to take a little bit of Shamrock, that just green I have all over my lid, and very lightly put it right here in the center, because I mean, theoretically I want some kind of like gap. I'm going to take a matte black now. This is just a Pat McGrath matte black, but any will do. And take that, actually I'm going to take that on the same pencil brush. And I'm going to make kind of like a little V shape in my outer corner with this. Again, try to keep it like pretty contained. Then I'm going to take a little bit more of Shamrock and just blend this into the shade Ivy on my lid, just to make sure that it looks blended. And then I'm going to take Seahorse, that very first shade I used, or do I? Yeah, and blend over the edges, just maybe of this outside part, because I want this front part to still be a little bit more graphic. And then I might take just the smallest touch of black and put it right kind of in this dot here that I have in the front of my eye. And then I'm going to take a touch of moss on my finger and then try to, oh wait, or do I want to do this before or after I do the wing? Maybe before. Okay, and just try to tap this lightly over the outer edge of my eye. I don't want it to be like necessarily full on pigment. And then take the shade Lime and do the same thing with it in the front part. But I don't want it to be like opaque. I want it to be just kind of topped over. These shadows aren't necessarily toppers, but maybe I'll just take that pencil brush and redefine this shape a touch. And then I'm going to take that same matte black now and just make a kind of like really big smoky wing. Just build it up. But not, maybe like a half wing, not taking it all the way into my lash line. And I'm trying to do this so that when I have my eye open, it makes one kind of clear shape. So it might be a little bit big when it's closed, hence maybe rendering all the outer corner work I did not quite so useful, but whatever. But yeah, I want it to be like a wing when I have my eyes open. And then let's take the tape off and see what has happened. Not too bad. Maybe not quite. I think I angled it too high. And then you can see, LOL, that one shade that I took out too far. But that's fine though. I think that's fine. I'm gonna just connect my lower lash line to it and it will be maybe less out than I normally do, but I'm really not mad at it at all. So I'm gonna quickly just do highlight and blush before I do my lower lash line and be right back. Okay, so I did blush and highlight. I used the Beauty Bay Face Palette in Light, the shade Precious and Peach. So for my lower lash line, I'm going to start with the matte black that I used. And where's my pencil brush? Here it is. And just connect this with the top part. I'm just going to maybe start this just in the outer part of my eye, but I'm just going to work to keep the shape but just make it flow better with my top lash line. Okay, it's looking a little weird, but it'll come together, okay? It will. And now I'm going to take the, you know what, let's work darkest to lightest. So I'm going to take Ivy and build this up along my lower lash line. And then I'm going to blend it out a little bit with the shade Shamrock. And then I'm going to blend everything out with a little bit of the shade Shamrock. Okay, and then finally I'm going to take the shade Kava, spray that and put that in my inner corners. And I did just re-intensify this little thing here with the shade Ivy with a smaller brush. I think that works a little bit better. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my face highlight, the shade Precious, and just highlight my brow bone. And now I'm just going to finish up the rest of my face and show you the finished look and conclude the video. Okay, and this is the finished look. On my lips, I have the Makeup Forever Endless Color Pencil in Endless Cacao and the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Ashton and the the e.l.f. Mint Melt Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Mint Sprinkled. Mint Sprinkle. Okay. I really, really love this look. I feel like tape might be the way for me for the future because I really like the shape that I was able to get. Sometimes I feel like I pull my eyeshadow out too straight just because it's like going with the natural, like, I guess, shape of my eyes, but I feel like this lifts them a little bit more. I'm into it, and I'm surprised at how much I like this little thing. This is like me going really wild and crazy, so, you know, trying new things, which I think is also something that this palette brought me, is because it is just a green monochromatic palette, it kind of forced me to play, well, I didn't really play that much with shape and stuff, but it did end up forcing me to play more with shape for this last look, at least, or like do something different, because color wise it's gonna be green no matter what, you know what I mean? So I really, really like that about it in a way. Otherwise, like, this palette is a little bit older, so maybe it was helpful for inspiration or whatever. And in terms of like quality formula, it's Beauty Bay, you know? Like, it's the Beauty Bay that you know and love. And honestly, if you're looking for a green monochromatic palette that has different depths and like tones of green, I really feel like you can't go wrong with this. And in terms of like that, that's all I can really say, you know? No other thoughts other than I really like it. And I think it's a really good monochromatic green palette. Hopefully this video was helpful or enjoyable. And I would love to see you in my next video. Bye.